Hi friends, so once again we are back at your own learning platform, Learn Forward, with your maths book, Maths Concepts and Skills for Grade 5 by Feather Caps. We were doing fractions in our previous session and will be continuing with that. So you have learned about the different types of fractions, equivalent fractions, how you compare the fractions and how to check whether the fractions are equivalent or not. What do we have in the journey ahead? Today we'll be learning about adding, subtracting, multiplying and dividing the fractions. So, the four basic operations in mathematics, let's have fun with them in fractions also. So, first we'll be talking about addition of fractions. As we have learned that fractions can be like fractions which have the same denominator, yes, and they can be unlike also. So we'll be learning about adding and subtracting these two types of fractions separately, right? Now, one thing children you should remember here, why do we study like and unlike fractions? Because in addition and subtraction, only the like fractions can be added or subtracted. But it doesn't mean that we cannot add or subtract unlike fractions. We can, but for that first we change them, convert them into like fractions. So let us first understand how do you add like fractions that have the same denominator. So if you have 2 by 7 and 3 by 7, you want to add them. The denominator is same, you just add up the numerators. So what you get is 2 plus 3 in the numerator by 7. So 2 by 7 plus 3 by 7. So if it is like this is a chocolate, again I am making a chocolate for you. It has got 5, 6, 7 parts, right? The same chocolate with 7 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts, right? So from this chocolate, first you ate up 2 pieces. Then you ate up 3 pieces. So in all, how many pieces did you eat up? 2 and 3, 5. Out of how many? Out of 7. So see, we are not adding 7. We are not adding the denominator. We are adding the numerator only. So this is how we get 2 plus 3 and denominator will be only one time and we get 5 by 7. Right? These are not two different chocolates. From the same chocolate with 7 pieces, first we ate 2. Then we ate 3 more. So we ate 5 pieces in all out of 7. This is what we mean by adding the like fractions. But if you have unlike fractions, then do you remember what we did to compare the fractions? They were unlike fractions. The same we will be doing here. We'll be making them equivalent like fractions first. So if you have the fractions 3 by 5 and 2 by 7, what you see? The denominators are different. So first change them into same denominators, into like fractions by finding the LCM. That's perfect. So the LCM of 5 and 7 is 35. Let's change them. 5 will be changed into 35 by multiplying by 7. So we'll multiply numerator also by 7. That is how we get the equivalent fractions. So here you get 21 by 35. For the next one, 2 by 7, you change 7 into 35 by multiplying by 5. So you get 2 5s are 10 and this is 35. So 10 by 35. So do you think they are like fractions now? And it's simple to add them. So we just add the numerators 21 plus 10, which is 31 by 35 is your answer, right? So remember, you don't have to add denominators. You have to make the denominators same and then write the denominator only one time. Add up only the numerators. So just like addition, we have subtraction of like and unlike fractions. Simple. In like fractions, you will be just subtracting the numerators. So 3 by 7 minus 1 by 7 means 3 minus 1 in the numerator, which gives you 2 and denominator will be 7. And when the fractions are unlike and you have to subtract, remember children, again you have to make them like fractions by making equivalent fractions with the same denominator by finding the LCM of denominators. So if you have to subtract 1 by 5 from 3 by 7, LCM of 5 and 7 is 35 again. convert them into like fractions and then subtract. So finally you get 15 by 35 minus 7 by 35, which gives you 8 by 35. So if you get addition, subtraction of like and unlike fractions is so simple. Here's an exercise for you. First, you will be adding the fractions where you will first observe whether they are like or unlike. If they are like, here, this, these three are like. So you'll just be adding the numerators. In the other three parts, what you see is the denominators are different, they are unlike. So first find out the LCM, make them equivalent fractions with the denominator as LCM and add them, right? And similarly, you will be doing in subtraction also. Now, here's an activity for you. In the Commonwealth Games 2022, Indian athletes won 61 medals, 22 gold, 16 silver, 23 bronze. Present this data through fractions. So, what is the fraction of 22 golds? It is 22 out of 61. So, it is 22 by 61. This is how we show using fraction. What about silver? It is 16 out of 61 for silver and 23 out of 61 for bronze, right? Now, how many more medals will we have if Indian athletes win 15 more gold medals? So, this number of 61 changes to 61 plus 15, which is 76. 10 more silver, that means 86 now. And 12 more bronze medal, that is 98 total medals now. And now with the new number, you will be finding the new fractions because the number of gold medals has increased, silver and bronze medals have also increased. So the fractions will change. Now your total number of medals is 98. Find out gold, silver and bronze medals respectively and find out the new fractions. Let's go ahead. We have multiplication of fractions. Just like in addition and subtraction, I told you, if you remember, like fractions is that is very important to understand. But in case of multiplication and division, there is nothing like we need like fractions. It is simple multiplication of numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. So if you have 3 multiplied by 4 by 9, any whole number can also be represented as a fraction by making its denominator 1. So 3 means 3 by 1. 12 means 12 by 1. Now when you have to multiply fractions, what you simply do is multiply the numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. So the product will be 4 3s are 12 and 9 1s are 9. So 12 by 9. But what you have to remember is always leave the product in lowest form, in the simplest form. So here what we see, you get 12 by 9, right? Now you see 3 is a common factor here. So we divide this numerator and denominator by 3. We get 3 4s are 12, 3 3s are 9. So your final product is 4 by 3. It is so simple. You don't have to be bothered about equivalent fractions, about making the denominators same, about finding the like fractions, nothing. Just multiply the numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. And if any of the numbers being multiplied is a whole number, give it 1, the denominator. Easy? It's very easy. Now, when you have to multiply a fraction by a fraction, same thing, 3 by 5 and 4 by 6. Now, before multiplying, what you can do is, first if you multiply then divide, find out the common factor, it gets complicated. So if you have the the fractions here to be multiplied, you can quickly see if there are numbers that have common factors. Common where? The numerator and denominator should be compared. We cannot have common factors in numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator. No. Always any member, any player from numerator will be cancelled with a player in denominator. So what I see here, 3 and 6, they both can be divided by 3. So immediately I'll write here 3 1s are 3, 3 2s are 6. So now if I multiply, I get 5 1s are 5 and in the denominator 4 2s are 8. So I get 5 by 8 as my product. Otherwise, if you first multiply, see you get 15 and 24. Now you find the common factor. You see it is both the numbers are divisible by 3. So 3 5s are 15, 3 8s are 24. Here also you get 5 by 8. But here you are putting double effort, children. Go the way you want, whatever way you are comfortable. But here I suggest to cancel out the common factors to put lesser of the efforts. Now they get cancelled out, numbers become smaller, multiplication becomes easier. But in this case, you first multiply and then you try to find out what is the common factor with bigger numbers. So this is preferred, but still I say choice is yours. Now simplify if possible. So every time it is not necessary that you will have common factors. If you have, that's good enough. If you do not have, leave the answer like that. Now, multiplication of a mixed fraction with a whole number. You have already learnt about converting mixed fractions into improper form. So, first convert them into improper form and then follow the same method. Numerator multiplied by numerator, denominator multiplied by denominator. For example, if you have 3 whole 1 by 2 times 3. So, change this into improper. What do you get? Perfect. 7 by 2 and 3 you change into fraction with denominator 1. Anything common? No. Simply multiply the numerator by numerator. You get 21. Denominator by denominator. You get 2. Now again what you see here is this is an improper fraction. So you can change it back into its mixed form. 2 tens are 21 is the remainder. 2 is the divisor. So you get 10 whole 1 by 2 as your final answer. Okay. So whenever you get answer in improper form, prefer changing it into mixed form. Here we have an exercise in which you have to find different products. It's a whole number by a fraction, then a whole number with a mixed fraction, and here the two fractions are given. So in the first, change the whole number into fraction by giving denominator 1. Here, change the mixed fraction into improper, and this is just simple, right? I'm sure you'll be able to do these questions. Coming to next is reciprocal of a fraction. What do you mean by reciprocal? Reciprocal means just the reverse. So, in reciprocal of a fraction, the numerator and denominator get interchanged. That means if I have the fraction 2 by 5, 5 will become the numerator, 2 will become the denominator. So, the reciprocal of 2 by 5 is 5 by 2 and vice versa also. The reciprocal of 5 by 2 is 2 by 3. Because this goes into the numerator, this becomes the denominator. So, the fractions are reciprocal of each other. Okay. Now, why do we need this reciprocal? This helps us in division of fractions. How? Let's understand. Division of fractions, if you have to divide, you have to remember one thing. I am sure you know this brand, right? Let's use this for remembering division process. So first K says keep and F says flip and C says change. So we'll remember KFC, keep, flip, change. Now we must understand what do we have to keep, what do we have to flip, what do we have to change. Before I tell you that, do you know what is the meaning of flip? Yes, to change it upside down. That means doing the reciprocal. Now let's understand what do we have to do with this keep, flip and change. So if you have to divide fractions, suppose this is the given example here, 6 by 7 divided by 18. So let's first make 18 as a fraction. This is not a part of your process. This is one fraction divided by another now. Now, what do you have to keep? You have to keep the first fraction as it is. What do you have to flip? You have to flip the second fraction. That means you will change it into its reciprocal. And C says change. What do you have to change? You have to change the operation into its opposite operation. What is the operation opposite to division? Good, that is multiplication. So keep, flip, change, right? Now, if you have any common factors, this is simple multiplication of fractions, isn't it? So, if you have common factors, you can cancel them out. 6 ones are 6, 6 threes are 18. Now, multiply the numerators, 1. Multiply the denominators, this is 21. So, you get 1 by 21 as your answer. So, the answer you get on division is 1 by 21. Yes, this is 1 by 21. Now, division of a whole number by a fraction, same thing you can do. Just change this 15 divided by 10 by 11. So, just make it a fraction. Keep the first fraction as it is. Flip the second fraction. Change division into multiplication. Oh, I can see 5 is the common factor here. Now, I have 3 into 11 in the numerator, 33, and 1 into 2 in the denominator, which is 2. Now, because this is improper fraction, let's change it into mixed form. So, 2 ones are 2, 2 6 are 12, 1 is left and 2 is the divisor. So, 16 whole 1 by 2 is your answer on this division, right? So, just remember KFC, I'm sure it is going to help you out. And remember, when there's a mixed fraction, you have to change it into improper as we have done in multiplication. If there is a whole number, just change it into a fraction by giving it the denominator 1. That's it. I hope you'll be doing the exercise on this. Let's see what all do we have. Write the reciprocal of the following. The first number. What is the denominator? Yes, it is 1. So what will be the reciprocal? This will be 1 by 10. You will not write it 10 by 1 is equal to 1 by 10. No, you'll write the reciprocal of 10 is 1 by 10. Okay, because these values are not equal. Now, the next question says solve the following. So, this is division by a whole number. Change it into a fraction and then KFC. Solve the following. Same thing. This is the dividend is now a fraction. Again, KFC. In the third, solve the following. Both of them are mixed fractions. So, first you will be changing them into improper fraction and then again KFC and find out the answer. Smiles on your face can show me how KFC has made your tasks simpler and easier to remember. Brands you people always remember, isn't it? Especially when it comes to eatables. Okay, I'm happy I could help you out making things easier and fun for you. Now in HOTS, think and tell what should be filled in the box. How do you do such questions, children? You might get confused with fractions, but when it comes to simple numbers, I'll show you how they work for you. You have a number 2 multiplied by, you don't know which number is there, but you know that my product is 18. Can you tell me what's the number here? 9, that's perfect. But you have only two numbers, 2 and 18. And you have 4 operations. Now think, will you be adding, will you be subtracting, multiplying or dividing these two numbers to get the answer 9, because you are sure the answer is 9, but your numbers are only 2 and 18. So how do you work on them? Will you be adding? No. 18 plus 2 is 20. Will you be subtracting? No. You get 16 on subtraction. On multiplication, do you get 9? No. You get 36. On division, do you get 9? Yes. 18 divided by 2. You get 9. Similarly, you can find out your missing number here. You know this is 2 by 3. So, in place of 2, you will write 2 by 3. In place of 18 here, you have 14 by 39. And you have the division sign here. So, this is how you can find out the missing value here. There will be no confusion, I'm sure, if you use this trick. Now, the same way, you can find out what will be the missing quotient here. They say, suppose 10 divided by some number is equal to 2. So, 10 divided by which number is 2? See, you are right there. So, confidently, you all said 5. But you don't know 5. You know only the numbers 10 and 2. Now look at the operation. Which operation will give you 5 as the answer? Perfect. Division. That means 10 divided by 2 will give you the answer. So let's see what are the numbers replaced here. 10 is replaced by 5. Divided by 15 by 17 will give you the required box. Isn't that easy? I hope this helps you in doing any such calculation regarding any of the operations when you have the missing numbers. Just try for small numbers for which you have a confident answer and think which operation gives me this answer, and you'll be right there for your original question. Right? Now we have your chapter at a glance here. Fractions which have the same denominator, what are they called? Exactly, they are like fractions, and which do not have same denominators, they are unlike fractions. Now, when the numerator is smaller than denominator, they are called proper fractions, and when the numerator is bigger than denominator, they are of course improper fractions. When the numerator is 1, what is such fraction called? Unit fraction. Unit means 1, right? And when the fractions are equal in value, although the numbers look different, what are they called? Equivalent fractions. Yes. And the reciprocal of a fraction means flip, change the numerator into denominator and vice versa. So that is the reciprocal of a fraction. Coming to next, to compare, add or subtract, we need like fractions. And if you don't have like fractions, make them like fractions by finding the LCM of their denominators, right? And when a fraction is multiplied by its reciprocal, the product is always 1. So if you have 3 by 7, its reciprocal is 7 by 3. When you multiply, what happens? Numerator gets cancelled with the denominator and your product is 1. And children, this happens with any of the fractions. Whenever you multiply a fraction by its reciprocal, you get 1 as the product. Which of the following shows the equivalent fraction of 4 by 7? So find out which of these give you the simplest form as 4 by 7, and that is the equivalent fraction. Which of the following fractions are in order from least to the greatest? That means from smallest to the greatest. Which order is it? Ascending order. So just find out these fractions are arranged in that order or not. So the one which is arranged in ascending order is your correct answer. Moving to the next. Mary bought a pizza. She gave 1 by 8 of the pizza to each of her 5 children. What fraction of pizza is left with her? The easiest way here is if she is dividing pizza into 8 parts. And to how many children is she giving? 5 children. She is giving one part. So how many parts are left? 3 parts. Out of how many? 8. So that's so simple. Otherwise, what children do? You have one pizza. From one pizza, 5 by 8 fraction is eaten. It is distributed. So how much is left? Now here things get complicated. First you will change this into like fraction and then subtract. So when you just picturize things, out of 8 parts, 5 parts are eaten. How many are left? 3. 3 out of total how many parts? 8. And you get your fraction as 3 by 8. So this is how you can do mental calculation. Now here's miscellaneous exercise for you. Tick the correct options. So adding the fractions, 3 by 7 of 1 week. How many days are there in a week? 7. And what do you mean by of? You have already learnt about bod mass. So of means multiplication. So you can say 3 by 7 of means multiplication. 1 week means 7 days. And 7 days means 7 upon 1 fraction. So what do you get, children? You get 3 days as your answer. This is your correct answer. 13 divided by 1 by 5. KFC will help you out. 5 by 7 multiplied by which number is 1? Good. You said reciprocal. Now tell me what is the reciprocal? 7 by 5. Just find out and take the correct answer. Now here what operation is being used? what you see is the fractions are like fractions. So are you adding the numerators or subtracting? It's adding. Good. So addition is the correct answer here. Now again here it is a division problem for you and you will use KFC. Good. Here you have subjective type questions for you. The total weight of Ranil and his twin sister Sonali was this much. 7 whole 1 by 2 kg was the total weight of these twins when they were 4 months old. If Ranil's weight was 3 whole 2 by 8 kg, so what was the weight of the sibling? What was the weight of sibling? What was the weight of Sonali? Yes, you will be doing subtraction. And whose weight was more and by how much? Now you have the two fractions. You have the weight of both the siblings. So to compare whose weight was more and to see how much more, first you will be finding out bigger, smaller, and then good, you'll be subtracting. Find the odd one out and match it with the correct answer. Also give reason. So what is the odd one out here? Very nice. This is the odd one out. What is the reason? This is unlike and all others are like fractions. So 3 by 9 is the first answer. Similarly, you will do the other parts also. Now roll the dice. Whatever number you get, solve the problems of that column. Analyze the different functions performed and create your own dice game. So you are just, you have here dice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 6 numbers on your dice. You have to roll and whatever number you get, you have to solve the problem of that column. That means if you get number 2, so you will be solving this problem. If you get number 5, you will be solving this problem. So your dice will be unbiased to tell you which problem you have to solve out. So have fun, sit with your friends, roll the dice and then solve out these problems. Now here's an integrated exercise question for you, activity for you. Agriculture is the practice of growing plants on a large scale for food or other purposes. So farmers grow crops in their fields, right? Different crops are grown on large scale by farmers. Raman is a farmer. He divided his land into 3 equal parts. He grows rice on one part, bajra on second part. Now during November, he divides the third part of land into 2 equal parts again to grow wheat and jowar. So one part is for rice, the other part is for bajra, and the third part in November is divided into 2 parts for growing wheat and jowar, right? On each part it's grown. What fraction of the land was used to grow rice? So rice, what was the fraction? Good, it was 1 by 3 because he divided his plot, his farm into 3 equal parts and using 1 part for rice. What fraction of the land was used to grow bajra? So that was just the same. He was using it on the second part. So that is also 1 by 3. Now what fraction of land was used to grow each of the crops, wheat and jowar? Now what do you see, children? Out of this piece of land, this he is using for rice, this he is using for bajra. Now the third part gets divided into 2 equal parts. So what is each part equal to? The share already is 1 by 3 and he takes half of this. So what is half of 1/3? Find it out. Of means multiplication. So what do you get? This is 1 by 6. That means the land used for wheat is 1 by 6 and 1 by 6 is the same used for jowar also, because out of 1/3 he divided that plot, that part of land into 2 equal parts, which means 1 by 6. If you divide this, so now there are 6 equal parts. So this is how only like fractions can help you do the comparison of fractions, add them or subtract them, right? So through picturization we can do like this. Otherwise, using calculation, we can do half of the remaining 1/3, which gives you 1 by 6 of the land. You would have found the fractions interesting, isn't it? Great fun. Here's lab activity for you. to reinforce the concept of fractions. A sheet of paper is what you need, a ruler, a pencil, and some colors. And you all can do this activity individually. Now you have a sheet of paper, fold the sheet of paper along the longer side into 4 equal parts. So if this is your sheet, you can divide it into 4 equal parts. Fold it half, then again fold it. So you get 4 equal parts there. Leave the first part as it is and write 1 on it. Divide the second part into 2 equal parts using a ruler and write half on that. So all of you have this sheet. We have divided it into 4 equal parts. First part is as it is. In the second part, you will make 2 parts. For the third strip, you will be making 3 equal parts. And for the fourth strip, you will be making 4 equal parts. Right? This is how you will be dividing your sheet. This is a fraction comparison chart. You can compare like and unlike fractions using this comparison chart. For example, you can see that 1 by 3 is smaller than 1 by 2. You can also see 1 by 4 is smaller than 1 by 3. What you see here is half is bigger than 1 by 4. So using this chart, you can compare different fractions and have fun. So if you want to find out about 2/4, so how much is 2/4 here? If you have to compare 2/4 and 1/3, what do you see here on this chart? This much is 2/4. And how much is 1/3? It is only this much. So which one is bigger? 2/4 is bigger. So this is another comparison that you can make here. Right? So this chart is going to the sheet in which you have made different fractions, you have represented different fractions, can help you compare different fractions. So I'm sure you'll be enjoying with all these fun activities through visualization, and you'll have fun with fractions now onwards. So we'll be coming up with more interesting topics like this in maths. Till then, happy learning, children.